right, I wanted to talk today about good carbs and bad carbs. Everybody seems to know what they are for the most part because they've heard the names, but a lot of people don't know what that actually means. Um, Good carbs are complex carbohydrates, and bad carbs are refined carbohydrates. Regardless of whether or not somebody has any weight to lose or not, it's very, very important to know the difference because of the way the body digests them inside. Skinny people get diabetes too because their body starts becoming resistant to what insulin is trying to do in the body. The first stage of diabetes for skinny people, or even for a skinny person, is called hypoglycemia. Most people don't understand that that is directly the early stages of diabetes. The next stage is called insulin resistance, and then finally there's the full-blown diabetes. But again, too many people only associate diabetes with overweight or obese people, but it's not the case. And I'm not talking about people that are diagnosed when they're young with type 1. That's a whole other story altogether. That has to do with the way their pancreases were developed in utero. Having said all that, I wanted to show you something, and I get this question all the time, and I mean literally. Out of 15, 20 clients a day, I have this conversation at least 3 times, a little different depending upon who that person is. You know, if I'm going over the program with them, if they're brand new, we get to the oatmeal, and I'm explaining 1 cup of cooked oatmeal is agreeable. Can I have instant? Well, yeah, you can. You already paid me. I don't really give a shit. But here's the reason why you shouldn't. Do I have to have an apple? Can I have apple juice instead? Same thing applies. When something is complex, whether it's a grain, a broccoli, an apple, it makes no difference. If you can just use some visual for a minute, try to picture the inside of an apple as literally there's a chain link fence inside the apple, inside the broccoli. When you eat anything at all, whether it's good for you or bad for you, your body digests the exact same way. You have one kind of amino acids in your body. And it starts breaking down your food. The more complex, the more chain links, the more fibers, the more difficult it is for your body to digest it, the better off it is for you. For a couple of reasons. Number one, it's staying in your stomach for a longer period of time because your body is having a harder time to digest it. Digestion means, in the way I'm speaking about it, means as your enzymes and the amino acids in your body have to start gnawing and fighting its way through that apple, that broccoli, that steak, whatever it may be, only a little bit of a time is being converted into sugar, which is what you want. You want to have your sugar stable all day long, which means that in your stomach, every 2 to 3 hours, you have to have another log. You have to throw something else in there. It doesn't matter, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else. I'm busy. I remember those days, seriously, even when I weighed 119 pounds, when I was 5'6" and I was 20 years old. It's very easy to get sucked into what you're doing. You look at your watch and you say to yourself, holy shit, it's 4 o'clock. All I had all day long was like an apple and a yogurt at 9 this morning. And it can happen, but it's very dangerous, and that's how skinny people first get hypoglycemia, then they become insulin resistant, and then they become diabetic. I have quite a few very slim people referred to me by doctors because their blood sugar is showing out of whack. Their sugar has already started to come through the urine in a blood test, and they're thin, they're in good shape. And it's only because of the bad habits that they have of eating. It's not because they're making the bad choices. They're going very long without eating. So the key to maintaining a good blood sugar all day long is to always have a log. If you could just picture the inside of your stomach as that fireplace in your house. If you leave at 9 o'clock and you throw that breakfast log in your stomach and you don't come back until 3 o'clock, is your fireplace burning anymore? It's completely out. If you throw that log in your fireplace and then you come home 2 or 3 hours later because you forgot something, you'll see some embers in the field. You'll see there'll still be a little bit of a fire. And what happens when you throw 2 or 3 logs back on the fire? It goes whoosh, it goes up again. And that's what you want to create. That's the environment to give yourself the best chance of never having a low blood sugar. Because again, low blood sugar is not good either. It's inconvenient sometimes to eat, but you got to do it anyway. Now, the perfect example of this is, do you know that, for example, picture, I didn't bring any today, a Fuji apple, because they're large and sweet. Do you know that it takes between 3 and 6 of those just to make 1 8-ounce cup of juice? Which stays in your stomach longer and keeps you feeling fuller longer? It's not even a contest. So when clients say to me, oh, I hate vegetables, can I have them? Can I juice them all? You see my point? Yes, you can, but you're going to be starving 20 minutes later. That's the point. I want you to just take a look at this really quick. This is whole grain oats, old-fashioned oats, right from, okay, and steel cut are even larger. When I take these oats and put them in if I had a rock and I went like this 3 times, well, now it becomes instant oatmeal. There's which you could even see is already getting even powdery. There's a reason why this takes 1 minute to cook, and this takes, the longer you stare at the water, the longer it takes to cook. There's a reason for that. And what happens if I were to take this and put it in my hand and go like this a couple of times with a rock? This. You see the metamorphosis there? You need to remember this. It's very important. Again, having nothing to do with weight loss now. The reason is important. When you eat something, your body converts it into sugar. The cells of your body, there's a door on each cell. When your brain gets a signal that there's sugar there, it sends a message to your pancreas to send a spoonful of insulin out into your blood, scoops it out, opens the doors of your cells, literally like that door. You open it, it moves the sugar in, and then the door closes. So try to picture one of those sloppy closets that we all have that we hate to clean. And we keep throwing the crap in there, and the bicycles and the skates and everything else, and eventually you can't even close the door anymore because it's so full of crap. And you can't close the door, and all of a sudden everything starts falling out. That is insulin resistance. That's what happens when you constantly go too many hours without eating, or you're only eating refined carbohydrates like this, things that process and send sugar to the blood very, very fast. Your brain is constantly sending that signal to get the insulin out. And eventually, your body becomes immune to what insulin is. Insulin is trying, and I'm going to show you this. Insulin is trying to open the door to the cell, here, if you just pass that around, to push that sugar into the cells of your body, and that's how you get your energy. But if you're constantly waiting till your blood sugar to drop, the lower your blood sugar drops, this is key to remember, the lower your blood sugar drops, meaning the longer you go without eating, or the more of this kind of crap you have all day, the lower your sugar drops, the faster and higher it rises the next time. And the higher and faster it rises, the lower and deeper and faster it drops. And this concept, okay, then what happens? Then you need another cup of coffee and a donut because you're tired, you're working on a brief, or whatever, you're about getting ready for a meeting, and you need something really, really quick because you're not going to be home for 3 hours for dinner. You see my point? Mm-hmm. So I have this conversation, I can't even tell you how long, because obviously, look, a lot of clients come to me, they are pre-diabetic, they're already showing, sugar in their urine, which is that's a whole other conversation I could have with you. The first place it will show up is in your blood. The A1C level is the level of sugar in your blood. And then if the doctor sends you for your urine analysis, if there's already sugar in your urine, that's the end of that. So, it happens to people that are overweight? Absolutely. It also happens to people that are slim. So all I'm asking you to do is try to remember to eat every few hours. I tell all my weight loss clients, don't go longer than 3 hours without eating under any circumstances unless it's a real emergency. Always picture your insides as a fireplace. Never let it get completely burnt out where there's no log for your body to constantly be burning and converting a little at a time into sugar. And I hope that you remember this. The longer it takes for your body to burn it, the fuller you are longer, the slower it converts into sugar, the less need for insulin your body needs. And really, that's what you want, because once your insulin starts getting slow, you have to go on what's called pills, metformin. But once you cross that line from pills to insulin, you're done for the rest of your life. There's no going back. Once your pancreas is out, it's out. You can lose weight, you become slim, you can go to the gym, become buff, but you're an insulin diabetic forever. Any questions? Yes.
Top 5, eating 2 to 3 hours a day. What are the top 5? Just a top 5. Your favorite top 5 snacks that you recommend? Apple, like
yeah. I mean, apple and a yogurt. What I recommend to my clients, especially because they do have metabolism issues, is just complex carbohydrates take a very long time to digest. But if you mix, if you want to even slow down the absorption even more, you should, every time you have a fruit or a vegetable or a grain, those are where your carbs are, because protein protein like meat and chicken, and dairy, which has protein in it. Don't count those for a second.
Mhm.
But if you have, every time you have a fruit or a vegetable or a grain of any kind, even a good grain, if you link that with a dairy or a protein, it's going to slow it down even more. So if you have a yogurt, if you're having an apple, pair it with a yogurt or a piece
Which
of
is good.
cheese.
You're saying that's good.
It's excellent. Because again, complex carbs do more slowly digest and do more slowly convert into sugar. If you want to slow it down even more, link it with a protein which has no carbs, or a dairy which has some carbs but also a lot of protein. So those two things combined will slow down the absorptions of these. So I'm not telling you, look, never to make carrot juice for yourself. I don't really care. My point is that, again, can you picture, and this is the God's honest truth, I think that, 6 to 8 carrot stalks, 6 to 8 or 6 to 10 carrot stalks makes 1 8-ounce cup of carrot juice. Now, but just think about that for a second.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. Now, look, if you're in a jam and you're on a snack, you're coming off from Manhattan, and you just don't want to, you don't want,
juice in it. I just try to read it.
It's like,
But
like
yes,
water.
but you see, a lot of people, they're not looking to do the work of it. They want something fast. They want something quick, and they don't listen. I deal with this because that's how they used to eating before they get to me. And what am I going to do? Am I going to tell somebody, no, you can't? Listen, it's a free country.
How do you tell somebody?
It was, but when they left the house today, who knows what will happen when I get home. But the point is, they can follow my instructions or not. I already got paid. I don't give a shit what you do now. You're going to listen to me, you're not going to listen to me.
How do you tell if you're pre-diabetic? What are warning signs for that?
A blood test. And,
Just a blood test?
and let's see, a lot of thirst. A lot of lethargy or lethargy, I don't know how to pronounce that. You'll know.
Urination, too. Isn't urination an issue?
Well, but he's just urination in a doctor's office will tell. But how do you tell if you're pre-diabetic? Irregular sleep. That's a biggie. Not sleeping enough. Constantly being fatigued from the moment you wake up in the morning. And by the way, I know I'm past my time. Let me tell you something. That old wives' tale about how breakfast is the most important meal of the day is no bullshit.
It's my favorite meal.
It's no bullshit. If you have to, that's it. Because like the flip of the switch in the room when you flip the light on, your first meal of the day should be within 60 minutes, no more. Because then you're also starting your regulating of your blood sugar for the entire day. It really is key. How you begin the day is the key to everything else that follows. It's the truth. So you got to eat because that starts things going. Because think about this: for most people, you've eaten dinner about 6, 7 o'clock, maybe. Maybe you've had a snack around 9 o'clock, and then maybe you're in bed by 11. I'm assuming maybe 11. Okay. So just picture from 11 o'clock, and then maybe you get up at 6 or 7 in the morning for work. Look at you've now been 7 or 8 hours sleeping, 3 hours since your last food. That's 10 hours now that you've had nothing in your stomach. And you remember what I said about the fireplace before? Mm-hmm. So now you're waking up, your blood sugar is at its lowest, and your metabolism is at its slowest, which is normal.
Right.
So you have to start eating, to start regulating the blood sugar now for the rest of the day.
So, I've heard this in the past, but if you eat right before bed, it's not the end of the world.
It's not good.
It's not good.
No, it is not good.
So what do you want to do though? So if you're sleeping for 7, 8 hours,
right?
You just don't want to eat 2 hours before bed?
Probably. About somewhere around there. And listen, that doesn't mean that if right before you go to bed, but first of all, I don't know what you mean right before. You mean chewing, shut the lights out and lay down? Is that what you mean by right before?
Yeah.
Could mean that, yeah.
Well, no, listen, look, if you have a clementine at 10 o'clock at night and you hit the sack at 11, that's not going to kill you. But the later you eat, the worse it gets. Because don't forget, you may not know this. Your body is preparing for rest. Your body has already started to slow down around 6, 7, or 8 o'clock at night. It does matter what time you eat. Because the same exact meal, healthy and everything, portion controlled, everything, at 7, your body will not metabolize it the same way at 10. It will not. Your body is slower. It's getting ready for rest and repose because you've been active all day long. So do we all, every now and then, you have a big party, a wedding, and they're not serving till 9 o'clock? Yeah, but for the most part, that happens to every one of us every now and then. But it does matter what time you eat because the body doesn't metabolize the same. So.
Interesting. Thanks, Laura. That was
okay.
great.